Because in the class in Thailand, like, obviously, if the teacher got up and talked about their family, okay, well, that's the first hour. But now you're going to listen for 800 hours. So
800 hours?
800 hours.
I mean, do you get bored at any point? I mean, but it's just getting it drilled in no matter what. Pay attention as much as you can.
Yep, and some hours you're only paying attention for, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and some hours you're paying attention for 45 minutes. Your attention span does this, right? And the longer you study, the longer you listen, the shorter you're listening. And the longer those, where your brain is not listening, it gets longer and longer. Okay, but that's normal. And attending class 8 hours is still better than attending class 6 hours. And you just listen and listen. So the teacher's very skillful, but they're also, because Thai people have a thing about fun, about sanuk. Yeah, if something is sanuk, if something is fun, then they're just like, they go crazy for it, and they do great. So the teachers just get this idea in their head that, oh, teaching class is fun. And then they do all kinds of crazy and innovative. And it's really interesting because the general culture has some similarity to Taiwan, that like people don't want to lose face, or they're afraid to make a mistake or whatever. But then they have this other thing about fun. And if you convince them it's fun, then they just go nuts. And yeah, you get teachers, like 2 male teachers up here doing a soap opera, and it's like a love scene from a soap opera. Okay, Mr. Lee, why don't you come up and tell us the story? It could be anything. This would be harder now. You don't have a context. With everybody else, you had a context. You knew they're talking about their family.
我今天要讲的是一个我发生的一个故事。 我一个意外这样子，就是有一天我骑机车的时候，骑机车的时候，高雄是我，然后另外一个人呢，就是骑在我前面，然后我就在看别的地方，然后当我转回来的时候，然后来了警察嘛。 这个是警察，你还好吗？然后我说还好，锁骨这边，去医院的，这样，谢谢。
Okay, so. When I was talking, I was relying mostly on pictures, right? And now what Lee did, he used pictures, and then when he wanted to say, use sounds, use motions, that's it. We use everything, use body language. And you know, like for teaching English, the method called TPR, Total Physical Response. You know, we're like, and like he said, I was driving, motorcycle, and I fell down, you know, and something like this. We want to use body motion and sound. Now, let's say that this was a Chinese class. This was an ALG Chinese class, and Lee told this story in Chinese. Okay, and now Lee's going to ask, I want you to pick a foreign student to come up and retell the story in English. Not me, because I speak Chinese. Stay here for a minute. Okay, come. Okay. Okay. Now, what would be the benefit? Now, those of you that are teaching in Bushibans, right? You're teaching English. You have a policy in your Bushiban, right? The no Chinese Bushiban. We're really proud that we don't speak any Chinese in the classroom. All right, what would be the benefit of telling the story in English and letting the Chinese children retell the story in Chinese as opposed to English? What would be the benefit of that?
You know they understand what's going on.
You know they understand what's going on. What do you think?
And they can transfer from this language to the other language to help them learn like better here. Okay,
very good. Yeah, they can learn to transfer. What do you think?
They can more understand.
Okay, so if we do it this way, what are we testing? If I let Jeremy speak English or French when he does this, what are we testing? Testing his ability to
listen.
Right. Okay, so we don't care. And does he have to worry about making mistakes? Do you make mistakes when you speak French and English?
No.
No. So you're not going to be worried about that?
No.
Okay, and particularly when we're in Asia, what are many Asian people worried about? Face. They don't want to lose face. They're very worried about losing face. They don't want to make a mistake. It's what we call linguistic chance taking, which means that Lee, like, you know, we're friends outside, and I know Lee's a linguistic chance taker. That's what we call it. It means if Lee doesn't know exactly, which he usually knows exactly, but if he doesn't know, he tries. But a lot of people won't try because they're afraid of making a mistake. So if we say to the student, okay, come up and retell the story in Chinese, now the student's not afraid. And they don't have to worry, they don't think, they're just worried about their listening. But Jeremy, actually, you know what? Why don't you retell the story in French?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Everybody leave. Okay.
Ok. Lee habite à Kaohsiung et Lee vient de Kaohsiung. Lee, un jour, était à Kaohsiung et puis il conduisait sa motocyclette. Et puis il aimait sûrement regarder le paysage et puis il regardait ailleurs et il y avait quelqu'un d'autre sur une moto en avant de lui. Lee disait ça faisait mal. Alors la police a sûrement appelé l'ambulance et l'ambulance est venue. Et puis l'ambulance a apporté Lee à l'hôpital.
So let me ask you a question, honest, because you know some Chinese, obviously, you live here. How much of it did you understand linguistically, and how much did you just understand from the way?
In Chinese?
Yeah.
I'd say about 70 to 80% of what he said I understood.
Okay.
Because he said it pretty slowly.
Simple words.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are all the others. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was good. If everybody spoke Chinese to me like you spoke Chinese there, that'd be great.
That's it. You guys are learning Chinese. If you sat in here every day for a couple of hours with people telling stories, do you think you'd learn it?
I think it'd be very helpful, yeah.
And what about, well, you guys, your English is not really a problem. You're studying Chinese?
Here.
Also, yeah.
And in here.
In here. How many hours a week?
6. But
Okay.
I studied Chinese in mainland China before I came here.
Okay, so you're Chinese. Yeah, because I noticed your Chinese is pretty good. Okay. All right, so the final thing we want to say then is, so we see we can use it as a teaching tool, right? We can do it in the foreign language, have the students retell the story in their own language. We can have the students retell the story in the foreign language as a way of practicing speaking. We can use it for entertainment. We can use it to present new ideas and concepts. Finally, if we're in a business situation, could you pull out your notebook, you know, if you don't have a whiteboard, and just use drawing a story to explain something to somebody? And could you now be more aware of tuning into facial expressions, tone of voice, body language, and also using them when talking to other people? Jeremy said he understood Lee because Lee was trying to make himself understood. Yeah? And so we can, I'm doing it now, we can do the same. Okay. All right, thank you so much for attending my seminar today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.